What is the case if a non-Jew cook comes up to you in a wedding? You know, it's a kosher catering perhaps, right? Now for sure, it's a kosher catering, glad kosher catering. And you have the non-Jew cook comes to you, tells you, hey, you know, in the pot, there is a big chunk of a non-kosher meat. Right? That is what the goy says. That's what the non-Jew says. Are you allowed to listen to him?
No.
Would you accept what he says? He's the cook. Right? He cooked what he was given. So he comes to you with that statement. So our rabbis teach us that in such a situation, you do not listen to what was told to you. Why? Because first of all, the ne'emanut, the belief system that we have in Judaism, goes around other criteria. And those criteria, those beliefs, are by those who are trusted. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong about the non-Jew. There is nothing wrong about what he says. But to believe what he says is something that you cannot 100% do. Obviously, if he says such a thing, you're going to investigate what goes on. But for time being, you do not declare that the food is not kosher. Obviously, there were Mashkiach there. And the notion behind that is that according to Jewish ethics, once you come and you give that avenue to the non-Jew, that opens up to many other things that you're going to be accepting of what he says. And in such a situation, you cannot give him that power of belief. That power of belief cannot be given. Now, once we talk about kashrut, that was the Parashat Shemini we just read. You know, kashrut, it's a very hard thing to observe. You know, but Baruch Hashem, nowadays we have all these wonderful organizations that they make our job much easier. And when it comes to going out, dining out, going to events, the first thing that the Jew must do is to find out who is the kosher supervisor, so-called Mashkiach. Now, the most important element of a kosher food goes around on what and who supervised it. What was the supervision? If the supervision is trusted, if the supervision is somebody who knows what he's doing, was there a Mashkiach overseeing the process, or just the cook, or the the Jew who is running the show, running the catering or the restaurant? He is just declaring to you everything is kosher. Is there a certificate involved? Right? Obviously, if there is no problem with the cooking, you should be allowed to go and observe yourself. May I see what meat you're using? May I see the hashkacha that you have, the kosher supervision? Can I see your mashkiach? If there is something fishy, obviously a Jew would not allow that his pure neshama become tameh. Our rabbis teach us the most important element in Judaism is kashrut. And when the kashrut is not observed, then unfortunately that food that you eat becomes blood. It goes in your system. It becomes part of your blood, and blood circulates in heart and in brain. And when there is non-kosher food in your blood, lo aleinu chas v'shalom, then that makes all your process of thinking, right, upside down. Then the belief that you should have to Hashem would diminish, would become less. So Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us that we all observe kashrut, gilad kosher in the best ways possible, and do not just trust your instincts. Always find out what is you're eating, and double check to be sure.